Hello, my angels and devils, and all who may wander here. It is Amanda Christina, and today I want to talk to you about how important it is to trust your intuition or that gut instinct. All too often, we sometimes feel like something's wrong or something's not right, and we don't listen, and then we find ourselves in a world of pain or trouble, or wishing we had listened to that initial instinct or, excuse me, intuition. And it is something that can come from deep within us. It can just be a feeling, it can be a tingle, it can just be like a whisper on the wind. It is so different and so unique for all of us. Sometimes we have to learn the difference between our own fears and our intuition. That is something that's very, very important. And that sometimes it can be hard to learn the difference between being afraid of something, finding something hard to do on a social level, and also just intuition. And that's a fine line. It's something you learn. The more you use it, the better you get at it. The more you utilize those skills. It's like anything. It's like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the more you use it, the better it becomes, the stronger it becomes, the more you learn to tell that that is actually what it is. For me, mostly, I tend to go on my gut instinct with people. It's very rare now that people will shock or surprise me, in terms of if I have a weird feeling, if something feels too good to be true. Yeah, that's something that I've learnt to take into consideration. I find it really interesting because a lot of people, especially, I guess, also like with online friendships and stuff, like I've learnt to be a lot more careful with who I let into my friendship circle, or who I give my 100% trust to. I'm blessed to know quite a lot of amazing, incredible people, but that did not happen overnight. That took a lot of trial and error and a lot more realizing that I wanted quality and not quantity. There have been times in my, like, even where I live now, I don't really have friends, but there have been times in my life where I haven't even had an online friendship group. So I'm very, very blessed and lucky to have that now, and to have quality people who move mountains for you and remind you that they love you and that they care about you and that they're there for you even when you're not necessarily around, or when you're having a hard time, but you're not telling anyone you're having a hard time. So I'm very blessed in that. But it takes intuition, and sometimes it takes also a large amount of forgiveness. But you have to forgive yourself when you get it wrong sometimes. I would love to kick myself over some huge mistakes I've made. Um, but the truth is, I learnt so much about myself. I grew so much, and I became so much of a better person because of those mistakes, that I can't regret them. So intuition is there for a reason. If you feel a niggling doubt, if something doesn't feel right, if something seems too good to be true, usually it is. That is my experience. What I have learnt when it comes to people and intuition is trust your first instinct, trust your first impression, but be prepared to reevaluate it. Now, I have done that, and usually my first instinct has turned out to be the correct instinct overall. But but there have been times where I've had to reevaluate, and I've gone, okay, well, I judged wrongly. My intuition was off that day, or maybe something they said grated on me, or maybe I just had my hackles up. There are, so it's very important. I feel like trust that first impression of someone, that first gut instinct. Although I am sure people who know me from various places online and stuff probably think I'm too good to be true and I'm not really who I say I am, and then they get to know me like, oh, okay, well, wicked sense of humor, yes, kind of has evil plotty abilities but doesn't carry them out, which I think is the difference between being a good person and a bad person. Is you can plot evil revenge, just don't act on it. Let's face it, we all need a revenge fantasy or two in our lives. Yeah, so that is why it's important, because sometimes that intuition can save us in so many situations. The best example I have of this is, as a child, we went caravanning every summer, and we're on our way home, and I don't know why, I still do it now, like I'll wind the window up and down, like I need a certain amount of air and then it'll be too much. But I had wound the window up just literally seconds before this happened. Something just like, okay, I've got to roll the window up now. And a truck blew its tire. Dad swerved onto the side of the road, which was all gravel, and the caravan tipped one way and the car tipped another. And if the caravan had tipped once more than it did, we would have gone over the edge of a cliff. Not only that, the car landed on the side, on the passenger side. So I was in the back seat behind Mum, so the passenger side at the back. If I hadn't have wound up my window, I would have had all this side of my face, or this side, I don't know, one side of my face literally probably torn off with the gravel. Like, it would have been nasty. It would have been horrible. It would not have been pretty at all. So that intuition, that instinct is what saved me. The bottom fell out of the caravan. Dad's instinct to swerve onto the side of the road so that he didn't hit oncoming traffic, like, avoided a huge collision. Like, if Dad hadn't have had that intuitive, that fast thinking reaction of, I'm going to do this, it might damage our car, but it will save other people and no one will die. Yeah. So things like that, that is why it is so vital to learn the difference, to learn to trust your intuition, to learn to trust in yourself. And that can be quite hard, especially when you do dumb things or make dumb mistakes, which I am guilty of. I am guilty of not always trusting my intuition. Even as someone who does psychic readings and practices doing psychic things and practices using my intuition a lot, I still have my doubts about myself at times. So be aware that it's not a cure-all, but it does help a lot to trust your instincts. I hope that with the example and stuff, you kind of get what I'm trying to say here, because I feel like I'm just rambling today. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learn to use your intuition and to tell the difference between intuition and fear, because that is a really big one. And intuition and want. And I will talk to you all soon. I love each and every one of you. Have a truly magical, wonderful day. And remember that you're important, you're amazing, and you truly, truly do matter.